What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Even Your Dynasty Show. We are live during the game. Hopefully, we'll be more exciting for you to watch than the actual Giants game that's going on currently.
Hey, you said it.
Oh, man. But welcome, everybody. I don't know why X is having some issues. Seems like it's not wanting to go there.
X
Yeah,
issues?
whatever.
No, never.
Never. Why would they ever have issues? Yeah, all good. But welcome everyone. Today on this episode, we're gonna try to, because we've spent a lot of previous videos kind of harping on the performance of this team this season, and we're not gonna let them completely off the hook. We'll probably talk into a little bit about that today, but it's gonna be a little more future focused. Um, Both kind of talking about where we think the team should go for the rest of this season, including maybe some September call-ups, who we kind of think. Unfortunately, it's not as exciting as recent years. There's only like two guys that can get added to the roster now in September, but we'll also dive in a little bit on the Tyro and Taylor Rogers, although I don't think Taylor Rogers got claimed from the looks of it, or if he
I haven't
did,
heard
it just
anything.
hasn't been announced yet. Yeah, and then we're going to take a look at the active roster, who we want to see stick around, past the season, and then also kind of just what changes we think the team needs organizationally, whether that's personnel, who's running the show, roster changes, anything. We're going to just kind of run through the list on that one.
Absolutely.
So, yeah, and you guys will also probably get some live reactions to some stuff going on with the game, since we both have the game on in front of us as we're doing this. So
Yeah,
hopefully
I'd love to get a run. That'd be nice, but
just
beggars
just
can't
one,
be choosers. Yeah.
just one. It's
Just
only been like 16 straight innings or something. I don't know.
no big deal.
It's fine. It's fine. It's the dog in the coffee shop. This is fine. It's Giants mascot this season.
No kidding.
Oh man. But yeah, let's start it off. We're going to talk a little bit about what where we think the team needs to go. Dan. That sums it up, Dan. I love you, man.
Buy a vowel, buy a run.
Yep. Yep. Oh man, that's hilarious. But yeah, so we're gonna start off a little bit with where we kind of think the direction they need to go the rest of 2024. I know they're technically not mathematically eliminated. They might as well be. I know Dan, he's in the channel here too. He or in the comments right now. He brought up on his show kind of like he was doing the math on it, and I mean at this point, even if the Giants go like 12 games over 500, Atlanta would still have to go under 500 the rest of the way, and it's just the math ain't there. Like I've called time of death on this team season. It's done.
Yeah.
So I think we've reached a point, and some of their actions have kind of spoken to this, with them putting Tyro and Taylor Rogers on waivers. I think we've reached the point where the rest of the season needs to be focused on the young guys. Like we are at that point. It is no longer you can't play them because we're trying to win. Like we've hit that point where we really should not be playing a lot of these guys over the young players, and they're showing this by Tyro is now going down to Sacramento, or at least that's what I heard. Somebody said he didn't accept the assignment. I don't know if it was just someone trolling on Twitter or what, but
No, he did. He's
did.
off the 40. Yeah, he's off the 40. He's in Sac.
Okay, cool. So Tyro's going down to Sacramento, and now we'll see if they play Casey Schmidt every day. We'll see if they play Wisely and Schmidt in a platoon. I would have liked to see Luciano come up and just let him play second base for the last 25 or so games. Clearly they didn't, which to me doesn't make a ton of sense. I've already seen people getting on Casey Schmidt's case for the game he's having today, but to that I would say, dude, he didn't have an at bat for 9 days. Like literally look at his game logs. He hasn't played since the 21st.
Hey, this makes like 6 at bats he's had this month, Cody. Come on, it's plenty of time.
Yeah,
it's great development.
It's a shame that he's not developing. It's clearly his fault that he's not developing, not prepared to play. God. But yeah, so that's my feelings. I mean, I'll get your takes on kind of what you're expecting and who you think is going to be the two guys that, because it's going to be a pitcher and a position player.
Yeah.
So your takes on the rest of the season. They've got what, 26 games roughly, maybe 27, including the game they're in currently. So
yeah, I think one of the call-ups that's pretty much automatic, and it's been kind of announced but unofficially, will be Mason Black. I'm pretty sure he's coming back for the start tomorrow, so that'll be the pitcher. And then as far as the bat slash defensive player that'll come up, I would like it to be Luciano. I mean, it makes sense. So that would be ideal. But yeah, I mean, like you touched on, it's like they are still mathematically in it, but I mean, I saw somebody break down the math and it's literally like a 2.3% chance at the playoffs. So they're pretty much out. So at this point, it's, and you and I kind of talked about it earlier today. It's like, just for the team's pride, like you got to win this series because you're going up against Arizona and San Diego coming up. And so far, no good. But it's besides the point. But no, just looking forward. I hope they give a lot of these young guys that legit development and playing time that they need. Like you said, with Schmidt getting, his first at bat in 9 days, that's just unacceptable at this point in the season. Like, you're not going to the playoffs. You might as well see what you got with some of these young guys and play them every day and, make a well-informed decision going into the offseason. So I'm pretty sure we're going to see Mason Black, and I hope Marco Luciano, though. I really hope so.
Yeah, I agree. I like this.
That's
facts. 100%. Yeah, I mean, we always overrate our own. I've always tried to kind of temper expectations on a lot of guys. I especially when they first come up, like as excited as I get about the, as excited as I get about the young prospects and the players, I think for me, it's more, we don't know what we have. Like we like guys like Yaz, Tyro, and Yaz is still, maybe he doesn't belong in the category as much as the other guys like Slater did and Flores did this season. Because
but I mean,
Yaz
you haven't yet. Seasons. But you haven't them. That's the thing.
Exactly. They're all known quantities. Like what you have, and when you have a team full of these kinds of guys, it's just not good enough. Like until Yaz is a great player to have in a year like 2021, when you had Posey, Belt, Crawford all playing kind of out of their minds. Well, Posey was playing kind of par for the course, but Belt and Crawford really like stepped up that season.
Yeah.
And then these role players can be role players. When we have a team full of Yaz's and players like that, that's how you end up constantly in this just middle of the pack 500 chase. And and the fact that it never feels like we're trying to upgrade those positions, that's the problem I have. And you know what, Luis Matos, for an example, might not be an upgrade. Grant McCray, if you were to let Yaz go and put McCray and Lee in center and right, whichever way you want to put them, maybe McCray isn't an upgrade, but we should at least try. Like at this point, rather than paying $10 million to a guy that we know is not a difference maker on a team that needs a difference maker. So totally right, Ryan. I totally agree with this comment. That's kind of where I fall on the whole thing. Is I'd rather potentially sacrifice a few wins to chase the unknown quantity, so to speak, when we're a team that's headed nowhere.
Yeah, exactly.
So
exactly. I couldn't agree more, because I think the fan base in general overrates a lot of the players, whether they're young or whether they're, veterans. So, like you said, we know what we have in Lamont Wade. We know what we have in Mike Yastrzemski. We know what we have in a lot of these guys. I think it's time that we start letting, like, Encarnacion, for instance. He was in the Mexican League just a few months ago, going off in Sacramento. And he's played he started one game in like the last 2 weeks. Like, might as well see what you got with him. He's only on the roster for this year, I believe. might as well just see what you have. And I use him as an example just because he's at the plate right now. But no, I mean, I'd love to. Oh, look, we got a single. Look at that, guys.
Line drive. Nice piece of hitting.
Look at that.
You were making your point. I saw it because I know I'm ahead of you. And I was just like, oh, yeah.
But no, dude, I just I really want to see, and I think somebody said it in the chat, like a lot of these guys these vets that are playing literally at 70-80% health, just shut them down for the rest of the season, honestly. Wade with that hammy and knee, like, yes, he got a double earlier today, but dude, he's not 100% healthy. Shut him down. Let a young guy get some time. Bailey, I mean, there's not really anyone that you can plug in for him, but I mean, let's face it, he's done for the season. He's checked out physically and apparently mentally too. I want to see McRae every day. I want to see Luciano. Is Farm the only reason the team is underachieving? He's not the only reason, but he's the biggest reason.
Yeah. It's his roster, you know. I mean, I've gone pretty hard on Melvin, especially recently.
Yeah.
He's been pretty, he's been pretty bad. Like I just, there's no nice way to put it. That Melvin's just been bad this season. But with the roster, like there's talent, but it's flawed. Like they have a team full of swing and miss guys, and no speed until late in the season when they finally had Fitzgerald playing every day and McRae up on the roster, and then Chapman's running and stuff like that. This last month, I think they're about middle of the pack in stolen bases, but it's like, why did it take till August to finally get some speed on the roster? It's Melvin can only do what he can with what he's got in the first half of the season. When you give him like two starting pitchers, and he has to burn up his bullpen, and then a bunch of swing and miss veterans that are struggling. It's like, I don't know how much we can truly put on Melvin's shoulders in that respect, but I mean, he is not pushing any of the right buttons. This is like the anti-Bochy this season. Like it's been a rough watch and a lot of questionable decisions.
And I think we kind of touched on it a while back where we said that, Bomel would be great if this was a young rebuilding team because he's got a good track record of developing players. That's why this season, being such an eyesore as far as development is concerned, that's why I touch on, like, I think Farhan's got his dirty little fingers involved way too much. He'd be great if this was a rebuilding team. So let me see. First Kapler was blamed. Now it's Farhan. When would players be held accountable? Who are bringing the players in, man?
Yeah.
I mean, the players are obviously to blame, but who's the one that's bringing them in?
Yeah.
You got a lineup full of 6, 7, 8 hitters. I mean,
yeah.
We're
expecting players to be something they're not. I think it's just, I mean, like you said, we have guys like Matt Chapman who's having to hit fourth, and then we're getting mad. Like you and I have gotten on him because he's hitting, 226 or whatever, 220 with runners in scoring position. And it's like, yeah, we get on Chapman, but the reality is, like, how fair is it to Chapman that he's being expected to be a number 4 hitter? He's not a number 4
I was going to say, look at the lineup today. Your 3, 4, 5, your heart of the order is Conforto, Chapman, Bailey. And on any other competent team in the league, they would be 6, 7, 8. So, I mean, that's
how is Bailey in the middle third of an order ever?
Don't get me started on that, man.
No, I don't. We're not here to go on our.
All right, we need to look forward. We don't need to look back or look in the present. We need to look forward, man.
Exactly. But yeah, I mean, we've Robert, we're going to go into like the changes that are needed. To me, like this is completely a Farhan roster at this point. I think Farhan gets like, I don't know, 40% of the blame, and then you can put 30% on each of the players and the coaching. Like, to me, like he's responsible for the coaches that are here, and he's responsible for the roster. So to me, he gets most of the blame. Like, it's just, that is what it is. So, but like you said, the players do, I don't absolve the players just entirely because they're, being asked to do some things they shouldn't be. Like, you're still the players. You still got to go out there and perform. the end of the day.
Absolutely.
So,
Absolutely. But hey, we're looking forward. This season's pretty much a bust. So
yeah.
we are looking forward, guys. We are gonna have a positive mindset going into the off season and going forward as far as what needs to be changed, what we expect for the rest of the season, and what we can expect going forward. And why isn't Pronuncio?
It was a walk. I know. I saw it and I was like,
Yeah, you're a little ahead of me, but I just saw him.
I know.
What are we doing?
Oh, I thought you had already caught up. Okay, nice. Yeah.
No,
I'm like, yeah. You know what, Mercat? I would love for Sabian to come back, but I'm pretty sure that bridge is burned, and I'm pretty sure even Sabian's peed on the ashes by now. That bridge. Yeah. There's no chance of him coming back to this organization, unfortunately. So, but all right. So who do we want to see play it out the rest of the year? Who do we think are going to be the two? You know, you brought up Mason Black. He's obviously already coming up. There's some guys that I think that are on the IL. I wouldn't be shocked for pitchers. Like if in a couple of weeks, if Robbie Ray, and well, maybe he's shut down for the year, but if one of these guys ends up coming back and being the 28th man, maybe a Tristan Beck. He's already on the active roster. He's been throwing down in Sacramento. I think he's made about 4 appearances now down there. Maybe Beck ends up being the guy that comes up along with Black, because they are going to need some innings eaten up.
Yeah.
But the position player one, I think, is the interesting one, because there's a couple different routes they could go. They could go with a Luciano, plug him in at DH, play him every day. As a few in the chat have said earlier, he seems to be kind of in, Farhan's doghouse. And I'd say the other one we might see that I think is more likely would be Matos.
I could see
and
that.
Then possibly guys like Conforto and Yaz start getting more days off and they keep playing. So, what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I don't know how I forgot Matos, but I could see him coming back up. If there's a change in culture and they want to start giving some of the veterans a little bit of a break, especially like you said with the Yaz. I thought if Yaz tweaked something when he had that, he was trying to beat out that play at first. I thought he might have tweaked something. I was like, oh well, there's a easy decision. Matos come back, but no, he's good. I don't know. Like I said, position players, I want to see Matos or Luciano, but I only if they play every day. I need to see consistent play time, because they said they were going to give Luciano playing time once they traded Soler, and that did not happen. So,
yeah, he got 20 at bats, or 21. I think it was 21. Was the official number.
I think he went like 3 or 4 for 21.
Yeah, it's just. But that's Farhan for you. He's going to sit there, and if it's his guys, they'll get a huge rope. If you're elite defensively, you'll get a huge rope. McRae is going to get a pretty big rope because of the value he brings in center field, which is good. I'm all for that. But at some point, it's like, if we're bringing up a guy to hit, and you got to give him more than 20 at bats. Like what are we doing? It's like, let them play every day. He's been called up 3 times, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's not quite Ramos bad. He has like 84 at bats, I think, in his career now in the majors. But it's like, why are we playing this game where we call him up, send him down, call him up, send him down? Just for once, let one of these guys come up here and play every day.
We've seen this
for a month.
This is how Farhan Zaidi operates with guys that aren't his guys. He did it with Joey Bart, did it with Elliot Ramos, doing it with Marco Luciano. It's like, if you're not his guy, he's gonna toy with your options.
Yeah.
So it's just how it is, man.
Yeah. Oh.
Hang on. Don't say anything yet.
My brain is not. It's like my brain's on a delay that you're on a delay every time.
Okay. Walk, base is loaded. Who's coming up, Conforto?
Yeah. Hey, here we go. Speak into existence, Ryan. Most RBIs in the 7th inning or later on the team. Conforto is going to come through here. I mean, for the love of God, at least get a run in.
He's going to hit one in the Cove, Ryan.
It's going to be a 4-6-3 double play.
Don't do that to me.
Sorry, everybody.
Let's see.
There's a runner on third and less than 2 outs. We know how this story ends.
Oh, that was right in the happy zone, low and in. Oh,
I know. And then he's okay.
No, Cody, don't.
Nothing happened yet.
Let's see. Okay, I see what you meant.
All right. Okay, so the next topic we're going to talk about here, we're gonna move on here. Next one we're going to talk about is we're gonna talk the current roster. And okay, do you want to do 40-man roster or do you want to do the active roster?
Ooh. Why not both? Damn it, Conforto. Sorry. Pardon my French.
Hey, Mike asked it. Yeah, there you go. 4-6-3 strikeout. Yep. Nailed it.
Swinging at, man. Oh my gosh. Who's coming up next? Is he who I think it is?
I think it's Chapman, Mr. Clutch himself.
Okay.
Mr. Clutch. We all know how this ends.
Okay. I thought it was Bailey. I didn't know where we were at in the lineup.
They're gonna intentionally walk in a run so they could face Bailey.
Honestly, it's smart.
Oh God. If they had a 2-run lead, I'd say it's smart. Honestly. Yeah. Oh God. Let's do active, and then I'll pick and choose off the 40-man because the 40-man's pretty. There's not a lot as far as you get a lot of guys like Well, actually, we'll do the 40-man. We'll do the 40.
Let's do it.
All right. So, do you want to start with pitchers or do you want to start with position group?
Let's go pitchers first.
All right. So, we're going to play a game where we're going to basically just do who we want to see on this roster. Do we want to say next season or like for the next 2 years? Basically, like, do you have any kind of future here?
Yeah, let's just go future in general.
Okay. Future in general. Starting off with pitchers. It's going to be an all alphabetical. Tristan Beck.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like Beck.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Next one's probably an easy one. Hayden Birdsong.
Yeah, for sure.
Yep. Spencer Bivens.
I mean, I don't know. It depends on who's the manager. Bomel seems to like him for some reason, but that's like 50-50.
Yeah. I think he's a guy that's too easy to upgrade in the pen. He's solid. Like maybe next season he's a invite in spring training or he goes in competing for a job, but I wouldn't be shocked if he got him. Mason Black. This is going to be an interesting one. Mind you, he has 2 more minor league option years.
Again, it depends on what happens with Farhan and Bomel this offseason. If Farhan's gone, I would say I don't know if Black sticks around, but if Farhan stays, he does because Farhan loves his options.
Yeah, he'll definitely be around. I think for at least another. I mean, going into next year, but I could also see him being a trade piece. I just don't know necessarily what his value is going to be because, he has had a rough year. Yeah. He was off to an insane start. He has thrown the ball better lately. He might have a chance to recover some of that value if they do give him 4 or 5 starts to finish the season. Maybe he throws the ball well, and that would certainly go a long way.
No, agree.
All right, next one, Camilo Duvall.
Cody just reacted.
You'll see the pitch. What are we doing?
What are we doing, bro?
What are we doing, man? It's middle. That had some hang to it.
That was a meatball.
Oh God, he's putting it on a T for you, Chapman.
Okay, what was the last name you said?
Tranquilo,
Camilo.
This is one of the hardest ones I bet.
That is, man. Like, I can see him being traded.
Yeah.
Honestly, because look, I put this on Twitter or X the other day, where I said honestly, Ryan Walker has been an upgrade over Camilo at closer.
Small
And
sample, but he has.
yeah, and
For sure.
Camilo turned down a $50 million extension offer last offseason. There's no way they're going to give him that this offseason.
No.
And I think he's meant for more of a closer role. So I can't see him. I can't see him sticking around long term anymore, unless Walker absolutely, craps the bed and they swap him out. But yeah. Oh,
I'm shook right now.
I am no Chapman.
Who had that on their bingo card? Chapman coming through in a 2 outs runners in scoring position.
I was just gonna unmute it for
Good
us to hear, and I was
stuff.
like, "Wait, you're gonna get caught."
Let's go. I'm like, I looked down and then I looked up and I'm like, I am trying not to react in any kind of way.
Or was the
Nice
pitch?
piece of hitting.
Oh yeah, hanger
out over the plate. Yeah, good stuff.
Nice, Chappie.
It's the Marlins, guys. Like we gotta win this series. like we were talking earlier. Play with some pride, everyone.
Yeah. Oh yeah, Lawn Gnome came in to score. Yaz came in to score. Oh, now we got Bailey. All right, innings over, guys.
All right, cool. Back to your regular programming.
Back.
Just go to commercial.
Just go to commercial.
Bailey's gonna hit one in the Cove now that we're talking crap about it. I hope he does.
Pitches that are at his shoelaces.
Yeah.
Lord, man. He's batting in the 220s now. How about that?
Wow. All right.
Ryan, yes.
What's he at now? Somebody tell me. Because it's trending that way, unfortunately.
Hey, he got a hit.
Yeah. This play was way closer than I thought it was going to be.
The crowd's
I think that short. Look at the shortstop. He gets up and it's like he looks over at first and goes, "Oh crap, I got a chance." He didn't expect to even have it.
And he almost got him. He beat him by a step and a half.
Chapman gets this 4-year, $100 million deal. Rob says, "Yep." All right, so back to our game here. I think Doval is kind of he's one of the most difficult of this game because for me, I lean yes, but I also am of the belief that if he gets back to throwing the ball really well and he recovers his value and his value goes back up, you trade him. You don't let him tank his value again. If his value goes up next season, you move him.
Mm-hmm.
But on the flip side, if they actually find a way to put together a competitive team next season and he's good and you have him and Walker both throwing the ball well, it's really difficult to move him. It gets to that point where, I don't think we should take elite setup men for granted when we have them. So it's like if he can turn himself into one of those, that'd be huge. And he's a guy that, he could get put into a bunch of like high stress situations and it could be kind of a weapon where remember how Bochy used to believe in like using his best reliever in whatever inning, doesn't matter. He goes, it's a high leverage situation. I'm going to put him in. Mm-hmm. And I think Doval could be kind of that piece where it's like, oh, you're leaking oil in the 6th. Doval's going to come in and put out the fire and, get you to the next inning at least. So I lean he's going to stick around, but a lot of it depends on the team, how good are they? What's his value? Things like that. Because if he recovers the value and the team sucks next season, trade him. To me, it's not even a question.
For sure.
Kyle Harrison.
Obviously.
Yeah. Unless Harrison is, part of a big trade. Same with Birdsong. Unless they get part of a Vladdy trade, they're not going anywhere. Those guys are going to stick around. Jordan Hicks, I mean,
he's under contract.
Him or not, he's under contract for 3 more years. Sean Jelly.
That's tough. Because And again, I hate to keep saying this, but Bomel loves jelly. So if Bomel's here, Jelly is going to be here. But
because he pitched like 11 shutout innings versus the Padres last season.
Yeah, man, San Diego.
Did nothing else the rest of the season.
I mean, Jelly's weird, dude. Like, he'll go on these huge stretches of just being awful, and then he'll be lights out for a short period of time, and then go back to being awful. I mean, me personally, I think you can upgrade that position. I mean, Will Bednar.
That guy. So what I would say about Will Bednar is he has major league stuff. His command is all over the map, man. So if he can't tighten that up, he's not going to make it. Like, that's just the reality. It's not that he's getting, he's not getting like knocked around in Double-A every time. Like, you look at his line and he'll give up like one hit and 3 runs. Like, it's just, dude is behind every hitter. He's walking a bunch of guys. He's just, he's all over the map. So I don't know what's going on, if it's mechanical or what, but like, he can't hit his spots, and he was doing a fine enough job early in the year. But he has good stuff, has a good, really live fastball, good splitter, good slider. But yeah,
grand.
we would be drunk on this show.
Yeah.
Let's get Shard all the link. Yeah, no. Sorry. But all right. Jelly to me is kind of similar as Bivens.
Yeah.
It's just,
he's replaceable.
I like him, but he's replaceable. 100%. Trevor McDonald. I don't know how much you've watched McDonald, but
very little.
Okay.
That's more of
got
a
kind of funky, funky delivery, short arms it a little bit, but still throws mid to upper 90s. Good slider, good changeup.
I've heard good things about him. I've just never watched him because I don't watch the minor league games.
Yeah, he's on the 40. I would venture a guess that you're going to see him next season at some point, barring injuries. I like his stuff, though. I think ultimately he's going to end up in the bullpen, but they're letting him start right now. So yeah. I think his stuff and his motion, I'll have to try and like dig up one of my old highlights to send to you so you can see it, but it does not scream emotion that's going to last over 100+ innings this season. Like I feel like he's going to battle injuries if they try and do that.
It's kind of like how Timmy used to be back in the day, where it was like you saw that motion, you're like, yeah, he's not going to last a long time.
Yeah. See, with McDonald, it's like it's actually his arm that I'm like, ugh. Timmy's was like, dude, your body is going to break down. Like, it wasn't really Timmy's arm. It was just like he had the hip problems and he had the other, he had other stuff that he had to deal with. Didn't he? Because he had the same injury as Cobb, right?
Yeah.
At one point. Yeah. But what happened to Cole Waits? I think last season they DFA'd him and I don't know where he went, if I'm being honest.
Yeah.
I think he
fell off
another
the radar.
Organization.
He just fell off the radar, man.
Yeah. So, all right. Next on the list, Eric Miller. This is an easy one for me.
Yeah, he's good. I like him.
I like Miller. He's gonna keep going. Robbie Ray, under contract for 2 more years. I mean,
yeah, as long as he doesn't, he's gonna opt in.
Yeah,
pretty sure he's opting in.
Yeah. We'll go a little quicker on these. Randy Rodriguez.
Yeah.
All right, now we're gonna do him as a package deal. The Rogers twins.
They can go.
Well, they've already
waived
Taylor
one. So that says a lot. Yeah, that says a lot about one.
How old is crazy because he's actually having a good year.
He is. I thought Taylor was having a better year than Tyler. Yeah. So there was a little bit of a shock, but then I saw his how much he's going to cost next season. I was like, okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think Taylor's gone. I'm pretty sure they'll keep Tyler at least next year, but yeah.
I think Tyler, he's going to be cheap next year still.
That's why
him. He's a guy they need to start looking to move though.
Yes.
One of these years. I mean, this would have been we saw what guys like Trevor Rogers was getting.
Yeah.
I mean, he got Norby for the Marlins. Like, guys, we could have traded Tyler Rogers to a team that needed bullpen help and at least got like it wasn't going to be a top 100 guy, but we could have gotten a good prospect for him.
Yeah.
So I just, Landon Roop.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah,
I think Roop
like
has
Roop.
tons of potential.
Yeah, I like Roop. I like his stuff. Hasn't quite figured it out, but is what it is. I don't know what to do with my hands when the Giants have 1, 2, 3, 9th innings.
See, dude, I love Ryan Walker. Shut down.
Camilo Duvall sitting here going, what do you mean there's not 3 runners on? What do you mean you didn't let 3 guys reach and a guy score?
What do you mean you're not at 31 pitches?
Yeah. Oh, God. Okay, Ethan Small.
No.
Probably not. I saw Ethan Small pitch last Tuesday.
How's
Dude's
that?
got a funky delivery, man.
Does he?
Dude, he's so weird the way he throws. It was like Carson Ragsdale. I saw him pitch last Saturday too. He followed Wisenhunt. He's like super tall, like all arms and legs, and it just looks like he's throwing body parts at you when he pitches.
Looking like Skeletor.
Yeah, it's hilarious. Yeah, okay, yeah, I'd say no for me. Blake Snell.
I hope. I would love to extend Snell, but based on everything I'm hearing, and especially when Farhan talked about him the other day, it sounds less and less likely. But I would love to keep him. I think the second half of the season, Snell and Webb have been the best 1-2 punch in all of baseball.
Yeah.
So I would love to keep him. It's just, I don't know.
Yeah. To me, we'll see what the deal would look like, but
yeah.
I think it's pretty clear he's going to hit free agency. And I don't think, Farhan's comments about it, whether or not Farhan's here, we'll see. But Farhan's comments on it, it's kind of is what it is. Like, we all know who his agent is. Like, Boris is going to take it to free agency, especially with the season he's having. But, we'll see what kind of offers are out there. I don't see him necessarily getting 6-7 years. Like, if he didn't get it last season, I don't think it's going to happen this season.
Yeah.
And, we'll see. I'd love to have him back on 4 years. I could probably stomach 5 just because, to me, the timeline matches up well with the young guys like Harrison and Birdsong.
Yes.
Where you won't have to worry about, if they do turn into stars and things like that, you're not having to worry about paying them this astronomical amount of money.
Yeah.
Until, they're under club control for 5 more years in Harrison's case and 6 more in Birdsong's case. Mm-hmm. So, I could live with 5 years because it really doesn't impact you a ton financially with what you have invested in your rotation, especially because Snell in 2 more years, you'll have his $25 million off the books, and Webb's already under contract for a super team friendly deal. So I could do it. But if some team comes out and hands him 7 years, it's like, thanks for the memories, bro.
Yeah.
Have a good one. So
yeah. I mean, you kind of touched on it. I wouldn't be surprised if a team overpays, but at the same time, if you're going to overpay, you would have last year when he won the Cy Young. So
yeah. And he was a year younger.
Exactly. So I don't know. We'll see how it goes. But to answer your question, all I can say is I would love to keep him.
Yeah. Hope he's around. Yeah. All right. I found the easiest one of the day.
Let's hear it.
Kai-Wei Tang.
Get him what out of here.
Yeah. Don't let the door hit you, bro.
Yeah.
Ryan Walker.
Yes.
Yeah.
For sure.
Austin Warren. Haven't seen much of him yet.
Haven't seen much. Yeah, I was gonna say he looked pretty solid, but I don't know. I haven't seen enough. I feel like that says everything.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I guess this is probably the easiest, but Logan Webb.
No, I can't see him. No.
Yeah, unless you're gonna trade him for a king's ransom, he's not going anywhere. Yeah. Keaton Wynn. I like him as a bullpen arm.
Yeah, as a bullpen guy, I don't want to see him as a starter ever again.
Let me put it this way: I'd rather see Keaton Wynn than Spencer Bivens.
Yes.
In a bullpen role.
Yes.
So
I'd rather see Spencer Vivens over Tang.
yes. I would rather see I don't even know. I'd rather see Ricky come in and throw left-handed over Tang. All right, moving on to catchers. Patrick Bailey.
Unfortunately, yes.
Who else you got? Yeah, of course. Yeah, he's there. Casali.
No,
I think.
he's
I think
gone.
we're gonna actually just put Casali and Murphy in the same category because to me,
they're both gone.
yeah, you gotta upgrade, and that's gonna be something we talk about in a little bit. You gotta upgrade the backup catcher spot.
I was just gonna say it's not even just upgrading a backup catcher. You got to get another catcher to platoon with Bailey. He's proven he cannot last a whole season, let alone half a season. He should not bat right-handed. He should strictly be a left-handed bat, Patrick Bailey. So you need to get another catcher to platoon with him. And you know I hate platoons, but Bailey gives me no other choice.
Yep.
He's gonna be tired by June again next season if you don't. I would love Langoliers. But how often does Oakland or now Vegas or Sacramento, whatever the hell they're going to be, how often do they make deals with us, though? You know what
I mean? I'm trying to think of a funny way to put this. I was going to say the Oaklamento A's of Nevada.
The Oaklamento A's of Las Vegas. That's perfect.
Someone was calling them the what were they calling the River A's the other day, and I was like, I'm stuck on Athcats.
Oh my god,
terrible. All right, Blake Sable.
Oh my gosh. I can see them maybe moving him, honestly. Wouldn't shock me if he stuck around, but I could see them moving him.
Yeah. If he was a righty, I'd probably like him more. Just because I don't, bringing him up and then platooning him with Bailey, even if Bailey's still playing the majority, you're eating into too many of Bailey's at bats against righties, which I mean, yeah, he's struggling now, but it's like typically he can hit righties pretty decently. And if we're gonna bring a guy like Sable up, it doesn't, now Bailey's playing every game against lefties, and that's just he needs to not. So that's where I don't like Sable. I've said for a while put him at first, but they seem to refuse to, other than just periodically. So
they tried it out for a bit in the beginning of the year and then just like went away from it. So I don't know. Sable provides vibes.
That's what we need. More vibes. Less wins, more vibes. All right, infielders. Mark Canha.
No, he's gone.
He gone. Chapman.
Yeah, and I think they work out an extension. Hot take. I think they work out an extension this upcoming month.
Yeah, I think Chapman is going to be a Hunter Pence situation.
Yes,
where he doesn't even make it to the off season.
Exactly.
He's going to get an extension before the season ends.
Yeah.
So, and you know what? Deservedly so. Like, I'm not a big fan of handing him 4 more years. I'd love if they could just get 1 more on added on. But
yeah,
it's everyone kind of knows where I fall on Chapman. I find it kind of pointless to an extent if you're not going to actually go out and put the other players around that are necessary. Exactly. He's great if he's like your 3rd or 4th best position player, in the offense at least. But he's being relied on way too much. And you know what? Maybe we look down the road in 2 years and, we deal with another year next year where he does his thing, but it still feels kind of underwhelming. But, he's still statistically having a solid season. And then maybe the following year, Bryce Eldridge is up. And suddenly, Ramos has more experience. Eldridge is up. We've got Lee back. And, hopefully some of these young guys are playing well. And then maybe at that point, we're like, okay, we're really glad we have this guy around. He's a good leader, whatever, all those things. But
you nailed it. If you can build a team where Chapman is going to be your everyday 6th hitter at best, go for it because he's still going to give you Gold Glove defense and leadership.
Yeah.
That's my thoughts on it. But if you're going to say, oh, we're going to extend Chapman and there's our cleanup hitter. Yeah, nope. You need to make some more moves.
Here's an interesting thought.
Put Schmidt at third. Schmidt in a $25 million bat is better than Chapman in a Schmidt platoon. Here's my thing. Here's my thing with Schmidt. I'm a Schmidt fan. I love Schmidt. We still don't know what we have in him because they refuse to give him playing time. So are you really comfortable with just handing him the keys at third base and saying, all right, you're the guy, without really knowing what you have in him? You know what I mean? I think I like Schmidt. That's why I'm all for, him getting the entire month of September.
Yeah.
I'm perfectly fine for that to see at least what we got in him. But where it stands right now, I'm not comfortable with just giving him the keys.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree. Like it's pretty tough right now. If you're going to make that move, you've just got to be ready to possibly have kind of a revolving door at third base.
Exactly.
For a couple of years. The one thing Chapman does bring is, the one thing he does bring is, reliability, stability, all those things at third base. You kind of know what you're going to get. Ryan, I will say this: Matt Chapman is a better player than Evan Longoria was when Evan Longoria got traded to the Giants.
Yeah,
that's where I would.
Longo wasn't half the defender Chapman was when we got him. He was great when he was younger, but he wasn't, Gold Glove caliber when he was with the Giants, like Chapman is.
Chapman is better on all three phases of the game than Longo was. I mean, Longo was he was not a bum defensively. Like Longo was really solid, but
he was solid.
At that point, he's not Chapman. Yeah. And Chapman's already provided more thump with the bat in all aspects. Hit for roughly the same average that Longo was giving them, and actually provides value on the base paths. It's just. I think that's fair. This is actually fair though. Defense was cut below, but I trusted Longo way more in late and close at bats. Yeah, I mean Longoria, I would have rather had it up in a clutch at bat over Chapman. I would 100% agree.
My thing is with the whole comparison though between the two. If you sign Chapman to a 4-year deal, in his third year, then he'll start to play like Longoria during his tenureship with us. Yeah. That's where I see it.
And that's where we've struggled because it's like, in all free agent deals, you're usually paying for those first few years. Like you make these signings accepting that the end is going to suck.
Exactly.
Usually. But with a guy like Chapman, it's like, okay, we're paying for the beginning, but this team isn't ready in the beginning. The hope is that the team is ready in 3 years.
Exactly.
I mean, we want the team to be ready, but realistically, like we've seen this story year in and year out. So it's like, do we have any faith that they will be? And then by the time they are we going to just have a declining asset on our hands, making $25 million?
That's the tough part.
That's the fear there. Yeah. Hey, this is a fair wrap. Yeah, I liked Longoria. I don't think I got nothing but love for the guy.
Yeah,
that was a good job. I'm not. There's
no diss at Longo.
Yeah, no, Longo was solid. He had some big moments. The home run against the Dodgers in the playoffs. That was the only run in that game. He had some good stuff. This is pretty much it. That's on the nose.
That's beyond accurate, bro.
Yes. It's fine. We'll be competing by 2036. All right, Tyler Fitzgerald.
Yeah, for sure.
Yep. Wilma.
No, he's gone.
Just put his 41 in the rafters and send him packing.
Yeah, I wish that Photoshop would have came out. I was working on that.
So when everybody, I'm going to share with everybody what we were trying to put together here. I had the idea. I'm not good at Photoshop, so Dan was trying to put this together for us. With all the people talking about how the Giants did Tyro Estrada dirty and the way they sent him down and all these different things. or put him on waivers and all that. You know, I made a joke about how everybody like wants to see like how everybody's treating these guys, and Dan goes, we'll just put his numbers in the rafters. And I said he needs to put the numbers 5, 13, 39, and 41 up in the rafters. Heck, you could have thrown 31 in there too for Wade, and just been like Giants fans be like put them all up with the retired numbers.
I'm gonna do it a different way. I was trying to do it on my phone. I'm gonna do it on my PC tomorrow, but yeah, I was trying to make that Photoshop come to life.
Yeah, it would have been hilarious. Oh yeah, because now Estrada's not on this list, which I'll add Estrada, and my answer is no. Yeah, let him go. Yeah, Luciano.
No. As much as I would like to see him get a chance, he's gone. They're gonna Joey Bart him.
Yeah, he's got one more option here. We're reaching the point of crap or get off the pot.
Yeah,
but I think realistically, you should be trying to trade him for something before his value is completely gone. Yep. Like otherwise, it's going to be like Bart, where you end up moving a 23-year-old or 24-year-old for, you know, a half-eaten bag of chips, and he's going to be good somewhere else. You know, like that's going to be the problem. So trade him while he has value. Schmidt.
That one's tough. I would like to see him stick around, but it all depends on the direction that they go, dude. If they commit to the youth movement, sure, he'll probably stick around for another year. But wouldn't surprise me if they tried to package him in some sort of deal, especially if they extend Chapman and they go after a middle infielder like a Ha-Seong Kim in free agency and slide either him or Fitz to second or Short and vice versa, whichever. Then it's like, all right, where do you play Schmidt at? At that point, I think you make him expendable.
Yeah. If they extend Chapman and they go sign a middle infielder, I think it pretty much puts the writing on the wall.
Exactly.
For Casey. Like he'll be done. And he'll fall into the same category of trade him while he still has about something for value, you know, before it's completely done.
Yeah.
VR, he's gonna get moved.
He's gone. I like VR, but yeah, he's gone.
I do too. Lamont Wade Jr.
I hope he's gone. Like, don't get me wrong, he's had nice moments, but he's your first baseman and he has 21 RBIs this season. Yep. Mind you, yeah, he had a little hammy issue for about 3-4 weeks, but he just hit 20 RBIs last week, bro. And we're going into September. And he was an on-base machine, they said, and now he's slipping under the 300 mark. I think he's like 312 OBP.
Yeah.
So it's like, what value is he providing you? And he's giving you below average defense. He's expendable. You can upgrade first base.
I could kick him to a reserve for next season, but
I wouldn't
by 2026 off the roster. It's kind of how I feel.
Yeah, he's and granted, it's because his name is La Hamstring. That's what I call him.
Yeah, I saw this play, and I kind of looked up right when the ball was landing in the gap, and they cut back to Wade, and he comes pulling up into second base, and then I was like, oh, I must have I thought maybe it hit the wall and hopped over the fence. Like I thought it was a ground roll double, and they show the replay, and I'm like, what are you doing? Only getting second base on this play? Like how? Like this guy is. I'm not going to go on that tangent. If his hamstring's bad, he shouldn't be playing. That's as far as I'm at.
That's what I said.
Brett Wisely.
If you would have asked me a month and a half ago, I probably would have said for sure. But now it kind of goes into the same category as Schmidt, where it's like you go after a middle infielder that makes him expendable because clearly they prefer Fitzgerald over Wisely. And Fitz has outplayed him. So if they go after a middle infielder, he's probably on the market.
Yeah, for sure. I would say I think him and Schmidt, you could see them getting moved. I also think you could see them kind of competing for like a utility job on the team. So, you know, maybe one of them sticks and the other doesn't. Whichever one that is, I have no clue.
Yeah, that's fair.
All right, outfielders. Some of these will be easy. Conforto.
Gone.
He gone. Gerard Encarnacion.
He gone.
Yeah, probably gone. I could see a universe where he's like the 5th outfielder next season, but probably gone.
I mean, I wouldn't mind Harar was like a right-handed DH. Slash, he's a competent corner outfielder. I wouldn't mind it, but if I'm not mistaken, like I touched on earlier, you sign him out of the Mexican League for 1 year, so I think you'd have to go out of your way to make him an extension offer. I just don't know if I could see them doing that.
Yeah. But what I would say about Ha-Seong Kim is he's also going to provide you Gold Glove defense. He doesn't strike out a ton, so he'll probably be at least a little better situationally than a lot of the guys they have. And the last thing is he does carry a pretty decent walk rate, which I'm not huge on. Like, oh, cool, a guy just is up there trying to draw walks, but he also steals a bunch of bags, so there is value there.
He's an upgrade over Estrada.
Yeah.
Did you just say Charlie Blackmon, Donovan Solano? Negative, bro.
I mean, Luis Arraez would be great, but he ain't going anywhere.
I was going to say Arraez would be cool, but nah. Vaughn, nah. Alonso would be cool, but I can't see it.
All right. Lee, that's an easy yes.
Yeah, for sure.
He's under contract. Luis Matos.
Nah. Again, I'd love to see him come up in September and, get a consistent playing time. But again, it falls into the category. It's like he's in the doghouse, just like Luciano, just like Bart. Are they going to give him a chance? I hope, but I don't know.
McRae.
Yeah.
I think it's an easy I like what we've seen out of him.
I really like McRae.
Yeah. The swing and miss is real. Like I never tried to fool anyone on that one.
You called that from day one.
Yeah, and it's just a matter of can he improve that over time. We'll see. Meckler.
I hope not. You do not want to. Why would you ask me that?
Because some men like to see the world burn.
No, I mean, realistically, he's probably going to be here next season, but I would prefer if he didn't.
Yeah. Move him to second base, and then we can talk.
Exactly. Exactly.
Ramos.
Yes, for sure.
Yep. And then Yaz is the last one.
I want Yaz gone. And I got into it with some dude on X the other day about Yaz. But Yaz is one of those guys where he is replaceable. He's going into his age 35 season. And you should not have that be your starting right fielder. Like, yeah, he's going to get you above average defense, but he's going to get you below average hitting. So you can upgrade that position with ease. I mean, if you want to keep Yaz just as like a vet presence and you want to keep him as like a fourth outfielder, like I can maybe live with that for one more season, but realistically, like I would flip him if I could. Take a flyer on Jarrett Parker. All right.
So basically, if my math's right here, basically we are already, I just did the math on this. We're basically begging for 16 of the guys off the 40-man to be gone.
I feel like that's fair.
16. Like, that's brutal, guys. Like, that's way too many. Like, we should be looking at like 4 or 5 people on a competent roster. Yeah, you should be looking at 4 or 5 where you're like, they need to figure out a way to move this guy. 16.
Yeah, it's that much. Wow.
It's 40% of the roster. that's
and who built that roster?
Yeah. So let's kick into the third part of this. What changes do we need to see take place?
Fire Farhan.
Yeah, that's the easy answer.
Fire Farhan, fire Justin Daly. Have the Johnsons give the team to one of their grandkids or something. Like they can focus on the mission rocklet. Someone that cares about.
Do they have like a 7-year-old granddaughter? She'd probably run the club better.
Shoot, probably.
Like everybody gets $500 million.
Yeah, but no, that's day one, dude. Like you get rid of Farhan, and honestly, I like Bomel. I'm 50-50 on keeping him going into next season because it really determines, like, it really depends on what your team's going to look like. Because if you got a team full of young guys, I think Bomel could be great. He's like I touched on, he's got a track record of developing really good players, really good young players when given the full reins to be able to do so. But if you have the opportunity to upgrade coaching staff and front office.
So my brother's watching right now. What's up? And happy birthday. Old man just turned 40.
Happy birthday.
Making me feel old now that I get to say I have a 40-year-old brother. And he said, what changes do we need to see take place? Number 1, fire the GM. Number 2, get rid of the DH in the National League.
Yeah. Good times.
And I love both of those because they're both true.
Yeah.
Brutal. But yeah, no, I think Farhan, it's time to go. Like, if this team just goes down the drain, like at some point, you got to make the move. Like, and I would imagine we should find out in the next couple weeks because I don't see this team waiting until the season ends to fire him. At least I think it's completely idiotic to do that unless you're going to just promote Patilla and like you're not intending on actually doing a search. You're just planning on fire Farhan, promote Patilla, and let him run the show, which, as I've said, I'm not against that. I like Patilla.
Yeah.
But I know a lot of people aren't. Like, they're not fans, and they would want them to go outside the organization. I totally get it because, you know, there's kind of a stink going on with this front office. So, but, you know, you better make that move sooner because do you really want to go into the offseason without a GM or president of baseball operations or whatever you want to call it? Like, do you really want to go into the offseason without a decision maker in place? So, you know, didn't Shane Bloom get fired end of August last season?
Yep.
I want to say. So, yeah. We'll see. Bob Melvin, though, like, do you think it's you said you're not really, you're kind of on the fence with Melvin.
Yeah, I mean, I think he's replaceable. I mean, there's nothing overly special about him. It's just he wasn't a good fit from the jump. Like, if you were, like I touched on, if he came into this team that was rebuilding and focused on developing, you know, your young core, he'd be really good at that. And especially if he was under, you know, a president that gave him, you know, the keys to the show and just be like, here you go. You need to develop these guys, and I give you, you know, full authority to do whatever you got to do. But it's not the case. He came in here with, you know, one hand tied behind his back and was given a turd that he can only polish so much to look good. So if you have the opportunity to upgrade, you know, your president and your manager, I think you do it. I think you need an entire overhaul from the top to bottom.
Yeah. Maybe they bring Donnie Ecker back.
Dude, I like Ecker.
I do. Hey, go hire that the Cleveland hitting coach. You see that guy's 7 hitting philosophies or whatever?
Yeah, I did see that.
And then did you saw the Jeff Young's Jeff Young tweeted afterward?
I saw your little back and forth on that one. That was funny.
Yeah. Yeah, that's don't Giants hitting philosophy is just please don't shit your pants with the runners in scoring position. Yeah. I think it's kind of the opposite. After watching this club the last 3 years, pretty sure their plan is the opposite.
Hey, at this point. Chapman came through tonight, though.
Here's an interesting one. Barry has 46 splash hits. You think if Soto signed a contract for 10 years, he could run that 46 splash hits down? He hits so many to opposite field. I think people don't realize.
That's what I was just going to say.
I don't know. It's like even Bryce would, when he gets up, like, I think he's only going to end up hitting 3 or 4 in the Cove a year, but he'll hit a bunch to center and to left for a lefty, which is kind of insane. He's got just massive power the opposite way. So, yeah, I don't know.
Chris Tur, I'll give you one reason: money.
To the Johnny Manziel.
You give him $100 million more than another team, he's going to sign with you. That's just plain and simple. What are the odds though of signing Soto? In my opinion, are probably 5%. You got a 5% chance.
It needs to come from ownership. This is going to have to be an ownership decision. They're going to have to basically finally hit the point where they are so desperate for a star that ownership steps in and says, "Get it done."
Yeah,
we don't care the cost. Get it done. And I just don't know when you're going up against the Cohens and the Steinbrenners. I don't know, because by all accounts the Mets want him. Yeah. So, and he loves New York. So I think it's a bit of a pipe dream, but the Giants have the money to do it if they want.
Lots of money. They're not even more money this offseason. So
yeah. So
can they do it financially speaking? Yes. Will they? I don't believe so.
I think that's exactly right. I don't think we're gonna get a big signing unless Snell, unless you want to count if Chapman extends or Snell comes back or whatever. I think your best bet is an Adames or a Kim.
I was just gonna say that you're gonna get something along the lines of Chapman and or Snell if Snell decides he really likes San Francisco. And then your splash acquisitions are going to be an Adames or a Kim. And then maybe a couple, smaller pickups, another catcher, some depth, maybe reliever. But for the most part, that's going to be your offseason to expect.
Yeah. I would say the biggest contract, the contract I would give the highest percentage chance as far as big, massive deals to get handed out. I think the only one I can really truly think of is going to be if Farhan reaches between his legs and trades for Vladdy.
Yeah.
And they extend him. Yeah. I just, that's the only one I can think of. I don't think Soto's happening. I really don't.
Yeah. And I've thrown out my idea for Vladdy, which I touched on a couple weeks ago, because everyone was like, "Oh, but what about Bryce and blah, blah, blah." And my vision was really clear. If you can somehow pull a trade and land Vladdy and extend him, you start him at first for the next year or two. Then when Bryce comes up, you can plug Vladdy into a DH role. Then Bryce needs a day off. You can plug Vladdy into a first baseman for the day.
Yeah.
And then you got a nasty 1-2 punch between the two of them at those two positions. So,
yeah, I mean, as much as I hate the DH, it's there. Maybe we can get one that's not 30% worse than league average or whatever the hell they are. If you looked at the stat that you showed earlier today. So yeah. I mean, I don't know. It's just that's the biggest deal I could see. Even that Farhan hasn't shown any ability to take a risk like that, and that's certainly a risk. Granted,
Will Wilson.
When your biggest risk is that you ate a $9 million contract in order to get a team's first round pick, who ended up then sucking, that says something. It's pretty bad. And 6 years here, and that's the biggest risk he's taken. It's just brutal. But yeah, I mean, you could have, and even with Vladdy, you can mitigate some of that if you're gonna offer an extension, or if you're gonna have an extension worked out before. It sounds like he's willing to work out an extension from everything we've heard, but we'll see. This guy got promoted, Grand. Somehow he got promoted back to AAA while he was hitting $190 in AA. He just won't go away. I don't understand.
Cozart. The ghost of Cozart still roams.
That's brutal. All right. Last part of this.
Oh, sorry, real quick. I was responding to your thing, Grant, where you said odds they can sign Corbin Burns. It really depends on what happens with Ray and Snell. Because if Ray opts in and you work out an extension with Snell, there's no point of even considering pursuing Burns. Burns would be like a someone you pivot to if Snell opts to sign elsewhere.
Yeah, Burns would be a good like that. That is possible for sure if Snell goes elsewhere. He's a California guy. I mean,
Just gonna say he's local.
whatever that's worth. I think he pitched at St. Mary's, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So he's been. I think he's from Southern California, if I remember. He's from like Bakersfield or Fresno or something like that. I don't know. Down there, and then he went to. Yeah, and then he went to St. Mary's. So he's been in the Bay Area before. So I mean, maybe you bring him back. He would fit well in this ballpark. That's for sure. So
yeah,
we'll see. I still don't have faith the Giants can get a deal like that done. Until Farhan's gone, I don't have faith that they can do that, but we'll see. He got Correa to want to come here at one point, so maybe.
Yeah. It's a good question.
2021.
Yeah. And
before that,
I was thinking before. I wasn't considering this recent.
Yeah. I would say, okay, the last time they had both number 3 and 4 hitter, Kenton Bonds.
I was just going to say probably Ken Bonds.
Because Posey belonged there. Pablo, Pence,
Bell.
5 or 6 hitters.
Yeah.
Belt for most, 2021, that was the one time. 2012, the lineup was pretty good overall, top to bottom. They found ways to beat teams. I like, with Pagan, Scudero, especially at the end of the year when they got rolling. I think that was easily their best offense in a long time.
Yeah.
But yeah, legit 3 and 4 hitters, like belonged at 3 and 4. It's been a while.
No, this year we had Conforto and Bailey 3 and 4 a couple times.
Dude, stop it. We got Yaz and Chapman hitting 3 and 4. They strike fear, and they might strike fear in Chinese Taipei in the Little League World Series.
Chinese Taipei.
That's about it.
Melky.
Nobody else. Melky Cabrera. Yeah, when Melky was going ham in the first half.
And then he got busted for roids. It's like, oop. Adios.
Yeah. Oh, well. Got him Pence. So whatever. It worked out.
It did work out.
But yeah, it's been a while. I think it's suffice to say, it's been a long time since we've had legit 3 and 4 hitters in this lineup. And right now we don't have either, because I love Ramos, but ideally he's hitting like 5th behind. I like him in the middle of the order. I don't want him up at 3. If you can get 2 guys that like a little bit lower strikeout rates, put the ball, can actually take over games a little more reliable in the bigger situations. That's kind of what I want in the part of the order right now.
Here, this is what I want you guys to do, okay? I want you to close your eyes and envision this. The year is 2026. They're announcing the heart of the lineup that's coming up to bat in the bottom of the 2nd inning. Or the first. I don't know. Ignore that part. Just imagine. Just imagine this. Imagine this.
You're really selling us.
Imagine this, guys. The heart of the lineup. You got Bryce Eldridge, Vladimir Guerrero Jr., Elliot Ramos.
Yeah. They'll be hitting 4 through 6 after Yaz and Conforto and Bailey strike out in the top of the bottom of the first.
I'm going to break my monitor.
Dying. It's bad. Next drinking game is take a shot every time Tommy Listell spits on his batting gloves.
No, either that or when every time Patrick Bailey undoes his gloves. After every single pitch, he's...
Hey, could you imagine Nomar Garciaparra playing with the pitch clock?
Oh my gosh. You know how many violations he would have?
He'd be the first guy to strike out without a pitcher throwing a pitch.
Yeah, no kidding, dude. No more.
That'd be brutal. he'd be like getting in the box, making eye contact with the pitcher, still doing it, and the pitchers would be like quick pitching him right at the 8-second mark every time.
Every single time. Ryan, I can see it because Conforto sucks at Oracle. Like you look up his
Oh,
road
horrible.
versus home splits, it's
Yeah.
insane. So yes, I can definitely see him hitting 20 next year. Is Fitz leading off? Or is Lear leading off in 2026 or Fitz? Probably Lee. Although I might prefer Fitz, but probably Lee.
I like Fitz leading off more because good, he gets on base a decent amount. I don't think he's going to hit 300 next season. Like he's got too much swing and miss. I mean, he's striking out at nearly 30% rate right now. That's not sustainable to hit 300 while you're striking out 30% of the time. It's just not going to happen. But he does draw a decent amount of walks, and I like that he has 30 plus stolen base potential. Lee hasn't really shown that. And even if you go back to his numbers in Korea, like he's probably going to be like a 10 to 15 stolen base guy. But Lee has absolutely elite bat control, which is kind of ideal for a number 2 hitter.
Yeah.
So to me, get the guy with speed on, and then get the guy that can, actually hit situationally in front of him or right behind him. I mean, that would be my preference.
And then you get Mike Yastrzemski to come at that third. Right?
Elite protection. God. Yeah. To be fair, Ryan, I'm pretty sure 2 of these were pickoffs.
They were.
Not that it makes me feel better, but oh God. Okay, what else do we got here before we wrap this thing up? If anybody has anything to talk about, I think the only other thing I want to see change is kind of like a philosophical change with the team. Yes. I mentioned it on, I don't know if it was yesterday's video or a different one, but just I'm tired of the medium power hitters that they sign these guys like Aaron Rowand, and they sign guys like, Conforto, and credit to Chapman this season. He's actually hit, 21 home runs so far.
21.
Yeah. So he's at 20, like he's putting up his normal numbers, but like they get guys like Conforto where it's like, yeah, they have maybe a little bit above average power, but then they come here and it's like, they're not going to do it in this park. So stop, either invest in premium power, like go get those superstars that, will make this park look small, like they could have gone well beyond what the Yankees gave Aaron Judge, for instance, could have gone out and gotten a guy like that. Go get those kinds of guys. And if you're not going to, then screw the power. This team won a World Series one year where I'm pretty sure they were like dead last in home runs.
Yeah.
Like, go get speed guys. Like eventually you're going to want a couple guys in the middle. Ramos has some thump. Chapman clearly can hit some out. Maybe Bryce Eldridge in a couple of years. Maybe you go make a trade for Vladdy, whatever. You have like these 3 or 4 guys that might be able to hit for some power. But then I swear to God, go get guys that are going to steal you 20 to 40 stolen bases every year. Those should take up your other 5 spots.
For sure.
This ballpark, there's a reason why scouts from other teams come here and question why the Giants haven't just had like 9 speed guys for the last 20 years, because the park is literally built for it. Dude, line drives, speed.
The last player that we had to steal 30 bags was Dave Roberts in 2007. Like there should be no reason that's the last time. We're going on 18 years almost. Without a 30 stolen base guy, like you touched on, there's no excuse for that.
Here's one, and I'll leave it for you and for the chat as well. What do we have first? A 30 home run stolen base guy, 30 home run guy, a 30 stolen base guy, or a left fielder start 2 consecutive opening days?
I think a 30 stolen base guy. I think next season. I think Fitz will do it.
I think Fitz does it.
Yeah.
Honestly, we might get both of those next season if Ramos actually is healthy and this is what he is. I mean, he has 29 between or 28 or 29 between the majors and AAA this season.
Yeah.
Maybe we see both.
That's a good question. Did Conforto start in left last year?
He did not last season. He did this season. Last season, I think it was Blake Sable.
It was Sable. You're right.
Yeah. Brutal.
Yeah. But yeah, Ryan, Pagan was close. He did have 29.
Yes. Pagan had 29 and Belt had 29. And Belt did it in like 90 games.
Yeah.
Sorry, not stolen bases. Belt had 29 home runs in 2021 in like 90 games. So we've had someone get 29, but you know what they say about almost. So
over a decade since both 30 stolen bases and 30 home runs. Bro, that's worse than death.
it's 2 decades for the stolen or for the home runs.
Yeah.
2004.
Yeah.
20 years. The Braves had 4 guys on their team last season. Might have been 5 actually.
Yeah.
It's brutal.
Franz baseball avatar. That's funny.
That dude.
No, Pence had 28.
Yeah, was it 20?
Yeah,
28, I think. Something like that. Yeah, they've had a few guys kind of threaten it, but it's just, yeah. It's rough.
How much do you think it takes to keep Chapman in? At least 100 mil. He's going to want. Yeah, I can see him getting an extension around like 4 years, 110-ish.
Yeah. If you don't want him to see free agency, I think if you hand him 4 and 100, he'll sign.
Yeah.
If you take it to free agency, you might be able to get him for 90.
Yeah.
88, 90, something like that. Or it might be more. Or he might just walk, like it's. Yeah. But I do believe if you hand him 4 for 100, he will sign. Just my personal belief.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Opinion
we'll switch it up. Little Niners. Opinion on Brandon Ayuk extension.
I'll let you go first. Yeah.
I think that's kind of. Yeah. That's kind of where I'm at. Like, it's about time. I've said this entire time that I wanted to see him get extended and probably look to move Debo next offseason when his dead cap hit isn't, super bad. Yeah. Because reality is, as much as I love Debo as a player and he's kind of a tone setter, and there's a lot of great things you can say about Debo, the 2 things I get concerned about is his play style is probably not going to hold up on his, his body's not going to hold up with his play style very much longer. And also, I can't beat man coverage like at all. And I would rather bet on Ayuk and go get a more traditional route runner, which hopefully Pearsall is that guy. We'll see. But someone playing with a laser pointer in your room.
It's my dogs. It came on automatically. It does it sometimes.
Oh, that's hilarious.
My thoughts on it. First off, I'm wearing a Niners jersey, rocking the throwback Steve Young. Those of you that don't know, I'm actually community captain on Bleacher Report for the Giants and the Niners. And before I got on Bleacher Report, I actually worked for Yahoo Sports. I was mainly in their fantasy football department. So a little bit of my background. I'm probably a little bit more knowledgeable with football than baseball. It's a fake fan. But anyways, no, my thoughts are finally, and that was annoying because all the antics that he pulled in the offseason just to get that extension were so irritating for me, man. But I'm happy that it's finally done and over with. And I look forward to another good season. But like you touched on with Debo, you nailed it. And I think it gets a little pricey and going forward. So maybe they look to move Debo. But no, I'm happy to see it. Now I just want to see them sign Trent Williams already. Get that over with before the season starts.
It's a lot of posturing, and I think they're going to go all in on this season. And they're just going to have to accept that there's going to be a lot of changes next season.
Lots,
you're going to pay Brock, which, I mean, it doesn't impact your 2025 salary because he's locked in at like $1 million. So I guess theoretically they could kind of drag this a second year, but and then as far as the antics go, like, dude, Ayuk made Debo's whole, offseason look tame.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah, it was so annoying, bro.
It's just, I was at the point for so long that I was like, I don't even care if they trade him. Like, just decide, do something. I'm done.
I was so fed up as a fan, man.
I loved Ray Durham.
Ray Durham was the man.
Still has one of my favorite commercials.
Yeah, I remember we talking about that. Don, yes, both of us were. Me and Cody both were on the Stephen Vogt train. He was probably our first choice, and then Bomel was like my third or fourth. But yeah, we both wanted him. But here's my thoughts on it. I think Vogt would not have worked out in San Francisco either. I don't think any manager is gonna be successful under Farhan.
Yeah.
And that's just me being realistic. Vogt would not have the same amount of success that he's having with Cleveland that he would with us under Farhan.
Yeah. I think it's all dependent on how much autonomy he was handed.
Exactly.
And I mean, the reality is none of us know for sure the dynamic between Melvin and Farhan. Like, for all we know, Melvin could have full autonomy as far as decisions go. But when everything feels like it's being ran exactly the same as it has for 5 years, I have a hard time believing that Melvin's the one making all these decisions. It's like there's a, you know, there's an overlapping factor here, and it's the guy that runs the organization. So
that's why it pisses me off when people say, "Oh, Gabe Kapler, Gabe Kapler would be better than Bob Melvin." It's like, dude, you got the same philosophy under Bob Melvin that you did with Gabe Kapler, and the common denominator between the two is Farhan Zaidi. But the difference in like what you're getting between Bomel and what you had with Kapler is, one, you're getting a lot less antics. I like that word lately, but it's true. Kapler had a lot of stupid run-ins with the media and reports, and with a stupid apple and a stupid hand and a stupid burgers and all that. Like, those little dumb antics just piss me off when Bomel was just all about baseball. And then, and probably one of the biggest things is I looked at the statistics. Bob Melvin's been ejected more times this season than Gabe Kapler was his entire tenureship with the Giants.
Sure, he passed him in like June.
Yeah, dude. It's like the amount of support that he gives his players, you know, emotionally, it speaks volumes. So just those two factors alone, like, made me like Bob Melvin a lot more than Gabe Kapler. Yeah, and that's my thoughts on
it. Gabe Kapler did give us one of the greatest quotes of all time. Just some truly philosophical crap.
Yeah.
You know, if you want to get somewhere faster, just walk faster.
He's so corny. No, he reminds me of
this crap, man.
He reminds me of the stuff he says reminds me of Russell Wilson. You ever seen some of the corny stuff that he says and does? That's what it reminds me of.
Yeah. Russell Wilson, I have said for years, like, that cannot be his real personality. Nobody is that freaking corny.
He's like, so corny.
He's like laying in bed, like, clearly him and his wife just did it, and he's sitting there talking about like being Mr. Unlimited, and I'm just like, dude, what?
Yeah,
let's ride.
So stupid.
What the hell what's his thing in this Pittsburgh gonna be?
Steel City. Let's
mine.
Let's mine.
Let's go to the factories and lose our fingers.
Worse than death. If Farhan does get fired this year, do you guys think it'll be in October, November right away, or no? And we kind of touched on this earlier. You've got to make a decision in September because you don't want to go into the offseason with uncertainty from the guy who calls the shots. So you have to come to a decision in the month of September, and whether you do it before the season ends or you do it right after the season ends. But you got to decide this month. Steel City, let's manufacture. I didn't know what to say.
my brother just texted me Russell Wilson Giants promo, Giants country. Let's strike out.
Oh my gosh.
Accurate.
Let's
fail to get a runner in from third with less than 2 outs every time. I need it. If I have enough time on my hands and I'm bored enough, maybe I'll try and figure out just how bad they were this season at that, because I still cannot find, like, I can't find where you can actually get those numbers. I sure like Pagoda or something has it. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's just specific situations. It's kind of hard to
Yeah.
get sometimes.
I try to ask AI and it never helps.
Yeah. So if he's still here after October, it's over. Is over. We're stuck with him.
Yeah. It's
probably. I mean,
yeah, I
that's
was
kind
gonna
of where
say
I'm at.
it's a lot more likely.
Yeah, they could do it. I mean, with the playoffs, because you know they ain't gonna be there. I mean, they could do it after the season, I guess. But that leaves them what?
No, that's
4 weeks. Like
that's what I'm saying. You have to decide in September and either make the decision before the end of the season or right when the season ends, but including postseason, obviously. Like that's your time frame in which you have to make a decision. Because like you just touched on, then you just have a couple of weeks to hire somebody and plan for free agency and winter meetings and all that. So you have to.
Yeah. The Giants, so they fired Kapler 3 games before the end of the season, and it was 4 days total because it was during the off day.
Mm-hmm.
Melvin was hired October 25th.
Yeah.
And I think the new season started
a couple weeks after.
Yeah, because it's 5 days after the World Series. So it was probably like November 3rd or something like that. I mean, it's doable, but I feel like Zaidi kind of knew already who he wanted.
Yeah.
Like with this, I mean, does ownership know who they want? Like, this is exactly, who's your guy's ideal Farhan replacement? Like, does ownership have any clue? Like,
I'll tell you who the ideal Farhan replacement is. Caveman Dan.
Yes.
Dude, I will turn this ship around, man.
There'll be pink slips in all sorts of lockers.
Yeah, we'll win 110 games next year if I'm in there. Kim, I don't know.
I don't know enough with that. I mean, I'm going to be honest. I know of some names around the league. I'd have to dive in a little deeper on a lot of these. I know the Baltimore the guy that's the assistant GM there is a Bay Area guy, but he's, if we don't want analytics, like you're not going to want that guy. Like, and Baltimore's done a good job with talent acquisition, but like it's just like if you want to take a step away from the analytics side of things, and obviously you're not going to throw it all away, but like if we feel like we've gone too far on that side with Farhan, like you're not going to want to go get a guy like that. I'm trying to blank on his name. It's if you see it.
All I know is the one person I want from Baltimore is Kobe Mayo. So
dare to dream, man.
Dare to dream.
Hey, he had a rough start. Maybe they'll dump him.
Hey,
you guys want Tyro?
Want Tyro and Taylor Rogers
and Will Wilson and Wilmer Flores in his one leg.
Yeah, why not? We'll even give you Wade Meckler too.
Yeah. God.
Yeah, we're off them.
Farhan's relationship with 500 ball is the main constant. I've said it, man. It's the constant gravitational pull of 500. If you just bet on the Giants to lose when they're above 500 and bet on them to win when they're below 500, you make a lot of money.
Yeah.
That's this team. They ping pong. This season, they have never been more than 6 games under 500 and never more than 3 games over.
Yeah.
Constant. So, but I don't know. I think that's a pretty good spot to wrap it up. I think we're just over an hour and a half now. So appreciate everyone hopping in. As always, if you enjoy the content, like the video, subscribe to the channel. Trying to get to 700 by the end of the season.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's the goal.
Do the thing with the thing, guys.
We'll try and see what we can do this off season if we can get some fun stuff on. Dude, that laser pointer behind you is just killing me.
It's throwing me off because I look at the screen. I'm like, oh, am I getting sniped or something?
Yeah, it's just hilarious.
Yeah, that's Bosa's, man. He likes to chase it around the living room every now and then, but then it'll shoot up and come in here. I'm like, ugh.
Yeah, that's hilarious. So it just like goes around it just tracks around the room.
Yeah, then it'll stop and then move a little bit, just like that. Yeah, it goes all around, and living room and stuff because he can't chill, so he's kind of
That's awesome.
keep his mind occupied, so he chases that thing all around.
It's a German Shepherd, man. That's what they do.
That's a shepherd for you.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, you walk this guy 9-10 miles a day, and then he'll come back and chase his laser. I'm like, all right, bro.
How old is he?
He's 3.
Oh, okay. Still kind of a pup. Not
yeah,
quite, but kind of.
He's still young.
Hasn't quite mellowed yet. So
he's knocked out right now, though. So
yeah. All right, everyone.
I'm about to go knock out too. I'm tired.
Take it easy, guys. Have a good
Ryan,
one. Thanks
Gran.
for joining in. See you, Gran. See you, Ryan.
Yes,
see you, things. Go Giants, even though they frustrate us. Still go Giants.
Still
catch
love
you guys
them.
all next time.